Hello students, now we can derive Schrodinger equation. So far we have gone through the how the quantum mechanics has been uh, started, its some of the implication, then how the wave functions has been studied, how the matter waves are crucial for the particle, and now after wave functions and their characteristics we can derive the Schrodinger wave equation. So this is was established on the same hypothesis as the de Broglie hypothesis. So from this one we can derive the Schrodinger equation. Let us turn to directly to reach to the Schrodinger's derivation, Schrodinger's time dependent Schrodinger wave function. So let me tell you that this was the equation which I told you earlier, that we can represent psi, the wave function. This is one dimension because I am taking only x, xt equal to a exponential minus iota upon h cross. This is h cross et minus px into x. This is the form of any of the wave. Very common. As I told you, you are familiar with this kind of equation in your diffraction interference, maybe psi, where you have represent y equal to a sine omega t minus kx. This is similar equation what we know for any of the wave. This particular equation is only for the x. You can write here x, y, and z. If you write here x, y, and z, this will be for three-dimensional. So it should be very much okay. I am sincerely taking this only one-dimensional pattern. This E is the energy, Px is the momentum in the x direction. So if suppose this is my wave function, then what we can do, we can differentiate this equation with respect to time first. Because there are two variables, the time, this t, and x is that the position. So if you differentiate this psi with respect to t, it will give you, because you differentiate with respect to t, so ultimately this form will be constant because this is dependent on x. This particular minus iota h cross e t, this form will be differentiated. So if you differentiate, since this is exponential, so this whole quantity will represent here, will comes out to be here. And if you differentiate with respect to t, so minus iota h cross by e will come ahead of this particular psi. So this a exponential I can represent in form of psi because this was my psi. So I am writing this thing, this form as a psi. The only thing which is additional is minus iota upon h cross into e. What will happen there? There's minus iota h cross into e. If I multiply this equation by iota, so I have the left hand side iota, but here I will get minus iota square. And iota square will give you minus 1. So ultimately this minus iota square will be plus 1. So I will get this iota del by del t psi, and here this iota will be plus 1 upon h cross. If I take this h cross towards this side, so I will have e psi xt, e psi xt. This h cross is towards here, so iota h cross del psi by del xt. Now if you compare the left and the right hand side, as I told you, the operator kind of thing. So I will get, if I operate over e, I started with e is operating now psi xt. Okay, is operating now psi xt. It will give me the psi xt once again with this condition iota h cross del by del t. I can tell you what we have studied here. This operator of psi is giving me psi once again with this lambda. So it means this is the operator here. So again here equation. This is the operator operating on psi xt. It will give me psi xt with this form I h cross del by del t additional. And this iota h cross del by del t is actually the total energy operator. So that's why this E is actually, it's not equal to, this E is giving me the total energy operator, which is iota h cross del by del t. So this we get E from differentiating this particular equation with respect to t. Now what we'll do, since it was one variable, the second variable is x. So now I am differentiating this equation with respect to x. So if I differentiate with respect to x, what will happen? This quantity will remain as such. But here, since px is there, so my px will be now turns out to be in towards outside. So if I move here. So I am having this on differentiating with respect to position x. So now I am differentiating with respect to position x. So my quantity minus iota h cross, this is minus px will come, and a whole quantity as psi, because initially with respect to t the quantity was there minus iota h cross into e. Now with respect to x my quantity minus iota upon h cross with this minus px. So I will have minus iota h cross and px. So from here, what we can do, we again multiply with iota. So I have the iota here, but my iota will give me this minus minus now become plus. Okay, and I multiplying with iota. So this plus is already there, my I is there, but I multiply with iota also. So this iota will give me minus. So finally what will happen, that I will get a minus sign over here, and I multiply this h cross over there. So what will get, this px psi xt towards right side, and in the left hand side I will get h cross and obviously the minus sign also. So h cross, this is minus sign iota h cross del psi by del t. So this quantity I will get. And once again, if you compare these two equations, so px is my operator giving me over psi xt, which give me psi xt. So this quantity minus iota h cross del psi by del t is known as the momentum operator. So what happened, that once we differentiate this equation with respect to t, will give me the energy operator E, this one. If I differentiate with respect to x, this will give me the momentum operator. You can differentiate once again back. Why I am telling you why we are differentiating with once again for the x with respect to x. So I am differentiating with respect to x once again, and once again the similar quantity will give me. So p iota upon h cross px we got, then iota upon h cross px will be once again get second time. So this time this px will be squared, h cross will be squared, and this iota square will give me the minus sign. So this px square psi xt will give me minus h cross square and this quantity. So from here you can do it from your own also, differentiating once again with respect to x. So from this one you can say this px square operates, and this will give me minus h cross square del square by del x square. So we have the two things. Number one is the energy, number one is the px square. Why we did that? Because we know that energy is equal to p square by 2m. However, we also target the potential energy, because p square by 2m is the formula for kinetic energy. If you know from your 12th class knowledge that this p square by 2m is equal to kinetic energy, which is equal to E. The total energy is the kinetic energy plus potential energy. So we can write E equal to p square by 2m plus V. So now what we can do, we can multiply this equation with psi. So I can write this one dimensional I am targeting. So E psi xt, this part psi xt, this part psi xt. Now this E psi xt I know. This E I know, the operator I know, and this operator contains the value which was we have discarded this got to know iota h cross del by del t. So I'm writing in place of E, I am writing iota h cross del by del t over psi xt. In place of px square, we know this quantity. This one, just there. So in place of px square, we know minus h cross square del square by del x square. So I'm writing this minus h cross square del square by del x square. This 2m is there, so 2m is here. And this equation where we have just replaced E with this operator value, px square with the same value which we have calculated. So this equation is known as Schrodinger equation. And reminding you, this x is there only, so that's why this equation is known as Schrodinger equation in a one dimensional. Number one, this is also contains time. So that's why this equation is also known as one-dimensional time-dependent Schrodinger equation. Repeating again, one-dimensional time-dependent Schrodinger equation. If we move further, you can simply see that suppose V is 0, potential is 0, then this term will be 0, and suppose V is 0, that is what a free particle. Free particle means if a particle moving here and there, it is not bound. It is not bound, then potential energy will be 0. So for free particle, this term will be 0. We will use it also. So for free particle, this equation turns out to be this. And this is what one-dimensional time-dependent Schrodinger equation. But suppose we are having a three-dimensional, so we can have this psi x. This psi x can be, the psi x can contain x, y, z, or you can say r, because r is iota x, ix, jy, kz. So my this x can be replaced by r if suppose we are having a three-dimensional quantity. So in that case, my iota h cross del by this psi xt is replaced by r, psi xt is replaced by r, psi xt is replaced by r. Now, what happened here? We are differentiating here in this equation. We are differentiating, double differentiating with respect to x only. Delta square by del x square. Now, since we are having a three-dimensional y and z both, so we have to differentiate with respect to y and z also. So that is del square by del x square, del square by del y square, del square by del z square. So this is for three dimension. This quantity is also called as Laplacian operator del square. Hence, I can write this equation as minus iota h cross del psi rt by del t and minus iota h cross square by 2m. The same, this quantity can be del square psi rt plus v psi rt. This is known as three-dimensional time-dependent Schrodinger equation. For a free particle, once again, you can write v equal to 0. So this will give me the equation for the free particle. Hence, we have derived this equation as time-dependent, one-dimensional Schrodinger equation where psi xt is there, and this equation as time-dependent three-dimensional Schrodinger equation. In place of x, we are having r. Thank you very much. Tomorrow we will discuss the application or this time independent Schrodinger equation and their